Thank you very much, everyone, for being here today. We appreciate you coming out. Happy to have Chairman and Majority Owner Bill Haslam, GM Barry Trotz, CEO Sean Henry with us today. I'm going to turn it over to Bill, who will kick things off. Then we'll get into questions.
Yeah, thanks. So we appreciate everyone being here. Like I said, we're going to talk a little bit, and then we'll definitely save time for your questions as well. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Barry.
Just to start, thank you for everyone giving us the time today. I know you're a busy day. Just want to talk about a couple of rumors out there. I am healthy. This is not a health decision. I'm not getting back into coaching. This is not a coaching decision. So those are some of the rumors that are out there. I just wanted to dispel those. My goal when I was hired here was to focus on a number of different factors. Keeping a strong existing culture that was in place for so many years under David Poyle's leadership, restock the prospect pool and create a sort of a new core for our hockey club, keep us competitive while we acquire and develop our draft choices and picks. You heard me use the term threading the needle a little in the past, knowing we needed to buy some time to still be competitive and have some patience for development of our young players. Also wanted to tighten up and modernize the organization in different areas, be it facilities, technologies, including a new practice facility, training center, create a player-centric environment for health and wellness for our players, establish Nashville as a great destination for free agents. We feel we're well on the way creating that strong young core, that base of players. Our future looks really bright with the players that we have drafted and trying to develop at this point. With our ownership that is in place, we're fully committed to that. Our goal is to build an organization to win a Stanley Cup and not just make the playoffs. That's been our goal, my goal since being here. For the last 40 years in professional sports, I've been blessed to be part of a wonderful franchise here in Nashville. Big part of those 40 years was here. This franchise and city have given me and my family so much, a community, a family, friends, and a home. One thing that started to be clear to me is that I was going to retire after the 26-27 season. I felt a responsibility to inform Bill Haslam in early December of my intentions so he and management would have the adequate time for a replacement search. I will continue to manage the team with what is in the best interest of the Nashville Predators until my replacement is in place, no matter when that is. I will help and advise in the search for my replacement. And once the new leader is in place, I will transition into more of an advisory role. And I would like to thank, at this time, everybody in the organization, especially Brian Poyle, Jeff Kelty, and Scott Nickel for their loyalty and their undired time and effort every day as we worked as a real strong team.
Sean, you want to make a couple of comments?
Yeah, so Barry, on behalf of all Smashville, thank you. Congratulations. If you've known Barry for a day or a year or any time through his 40-year career, it's a pretty emotional day. It's one that's a celebration on one hand. On the other, we're all going to miss working with Barry. The way he's led us all, he's been a mentor to virtually every person he's ever met. So once again, Barry, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done. But you look back over 30 years ago when he came here, he set the model for Smashville. He became Smashville. He set the tone for what we could be, and it wasn't just an expansion team. It could be a special place to work, to play, to thrive. And you were the most successful expansion coach in the history of the league, surpassing Terry Crisp, much to his enjoyment and chagrin. He's paid it off many times over, Terry. But you did remarkable things as a coach. What I think is even more remarkable, when you chose to come back 3 or 4 years ago, you set some pretty aggressive goals. You went through some of them, but the number one goal was very, very simple, though aggressive. It was to be the best organization in sports. You wanted to transform this organization from being a really good franchise to a model one, where, to use your own words, every other team, 31 other teams, should look at the Nashville Predators and say, how do we do that? How do we, make it player-centric? How do we have the best facilities that are out there? You roll through those things, and you've done it. Look at our locker room downstairs. It's one of the best dressing rooms, locker rooms, recovery rooms, training rooms in our league now, where before we got here, it was mid-tier at best. It's putting the finishing touches on Centennial to make that a model training center for all of us. You talked about making this a place where players want to be, where they want to thrive. You've certainly done that. Even more importantly, you talked about restocking the cupboards, with future draft picks and prospects and where we're going. And again, he won't brag about himself, but just a month and a half ago, we saw a lot of that work on the world stage with juniors, where we had, I think, with Utah, the most players represented. So everything he said he was going to do, he was going to take on. As much as we've enjoyed, the work of 30 years ago, through today, the work we've done the past 3 or 4 years, I think we're going to enjoy for, decades to come. So once again, I just want to say thank you to you. But again, I go back to what you've always said. When you got here, it was in good shape. All you wanted to do was leave it in a better situation. You sure have. And your work's not done yet. As you continue to stock load draft picks, I think this draft and years to come will have your fingerprints all over it. So again, on behalf of all of us, just want to say thank you. When we told the players and the coaches, it was a little bit emotional for everyone because you meant that much to every single one of us. You became family. So thank you.
Thank you.
So when you think about the great Nashville Predators, Barry Trotz's name has to be near the top of the list. Okay, he's made that kind of contribution. I also want to say this. I've been in business, I've been in politics, I've been in sports now for 2 or 3 years. I don't know many better human beings than Barry Trotz. I really don't. He's just that guy, and he has that kind of heart for everybody around him. So I want to start there, his incredible contribution in this. A logical question is like, well, this is sort of an unusual way to do this. You're announcing a search that Barry's, going to be the general manager. And by the way, I want to make that point really clear. Barry is our general manager. He is going to be the general manager. He's in charge of the trade deadline. He is our general manager. I've been a mayor and a governor where everybody calls you a lame duck. I don't believe in that. Barry is our general manager. But you might say, so why are you doing this now? Well, 2 or 3 reasons. One, I just kind of want, whenever you can, you want to be as transparent as you can. And once you've made a decision, you need to go ahead and say that. The second thing is this. Barry's the unique kind of individual you can do this with. I have zero doubts, and I want to emphasize that he won't always do the right thing for the Predators. And anybody that knows Barry and wonders if he'll think, oh, I'm on the way out, I want to make it look good, I'll treat the trade deadline this way. That won't, Barry will always do what's right. I have 100% confidence in that. And I also think this, he's a person that doesn't have the kind of ego that's going to affect doing things right. Always do the right thing, and Barry will do that. So because Barry is that kind of person, because we want to be transparent. And then the third thing is that this is a process. We're going to be talking and looking. We're going to start a search. We're going to be looking at a lot of different people say, well, you can look at only existing general managers, assistant. We're going to look at a lot of different people. But as you know, the way it works in hockey, once the season ends, a lot of people go down to the fishing hole, as they say. I just assume be the guy with his line in the water first. And having Barry gives us the capacity to do that. So we are going to start a search. We've hired CAA to coordinate the search for us. We have a search committee that I will lead, but Barry and Sean and Michelle Kennedy, our president, will be on. We also will have a couple of our other shareholders, Chris Sigaran. Chris's family's been involved with the Preds for a while, and then Nick Saban, our newest owner, who has a little familiarity with helping on winning organizations, has agreed to be on the search committee as well. But we are going to, we'll start that search. Like I said, Barry is our general manager. We can do this because of the kind of person he is, and we look forward to continuing to build on Preds hockey. So I'll stop, and Nick, throw it back to you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to questions now. If you could please wait for the microphone. Please state your name, outlet, and who your question is for. We would appreciate that. We'll go to Alex first.
Barry, Bill addressed this a little bit, but I just wanted to find out from you, why now? In the middle of the team's, push for the playoffs. Why make this decision now? Why make this announcement now?
Well, I think we talked about it. I do the radio shows. I do that. We've been pretty transparent, and we want to get the best people. You look in this business right now. There's going to be a lot. This is a fantastic organization to work with. It's going to be a it's going to be one of those jobs that everybody's going to want. You're going to get the best people, and timing is we want to have the pole in first if we're going to fish for someone. So that is the uniqueness of it, but that's the advantage of it as well. This business is a lot of times it's a June 30th league, as you know, as everybody in the hockey world is signed till June 30th type of thing, and it leaves you even more time. Instead of making a rash, quick decision, you're going to be able to do that over time, and you're going to get a complete view of all the candidates. And it's changing in the sport. You have hockey people, you have agents who are now in that role. You have maybe someone from another sport coming in. I think we're pretty open to everything, but we want the best person in this role.
Adam, second row on the right.
Thank you. Adam Bingen, 102.5 The Game. This question is for Governor Haslam and Sean. I know you touched on it a bit in your opening statement, but I just want to clarify. There was not a difference of opinion between Barry and the two of you on which direction to take this franchise that led to this decision being moved up to now?
Yeah, absolutely not. And thank you for asking that. I meant to say that more clearly. Not only was there not a difference of opinion, this has people said, well, is this a reflection of something that's happening on the ice? Neither are true. This is about Barry making a life decision, and then us together. And we've been talking about this for 30 days, talking about, well, what's the best way to do it so we get the best possible result. I want to be as clear as I can. This has nothing to do with any disagreement with Barry or with a reflection of, where we are or are not as a team.
Jill, back row on the right.
Thank you. Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports. Going back to Alex's question about transparency, why now? How big of a concern is the timing with this coming in the middle of the season as this team is on the bubble of potentially making the playoffs? What were those conversations like about the concern for the timing and the implication on the team?
Well, I'll say this. Like I said, we've been really clear. Barry's going to be our general managers, and we've been real clear about that with the players. And the players they're pros. Okay, they realize there's things that happen in the front office, ownership, et cetera, that happen, and that's somebody else's concern. I have full confidence in Bruno and the team. They'll treat this like the professionals they are.
And, if I can add to that, the transparency is important. We try to do it all the time. We talk about it. With that said, this is not going to be a distraction. Barry's our general manager. This is the first time and the last time we're talking about opening the search. We're not going to answer any rumors. We're not going to give updates. We're not going to tell you who's flying in and when they're flying in and who's on the list. The next time we talk about this is when we're celebrating hiring the new person. And I think that's really important for everyone to manage the expectations. This will not be a distraction for our team. We have our general manager sitting next to us.
Yeah, let me add one more thing I didn't say. We don't want to be out there in the market searching for somebody and not being upfront about what's happening. And that's the other reason. And again, back to what you said, it's a June 30 league, like Barry said. If you want to get ahead of that game, then you need to do it, and you shouldn't be doing it behind the curtain.
Yeah,
Steve?
if I could say something on that, we've had we've talked about this. This is a unified sort of plan and for transition. And, being up front, you guys are so good at your job. If we were trying to do it behind the scenes, it gets out. It just does. You saw it this morning. It got out. You guys are very good at your job, and I think by being transparent is what we try to do as much as we can, because there's nothing worse than creating all the rumors and like I'm healthy, I'm not going back coaching, those are all rumors. Those aren't truths, and I think we want to be very transparent in this.
Steve, front row on the left.
Steve Lehman, News Channel 5. Just to further clarify that, I guess, there's a long window here potentially with your contract through next season. I think I heard you say there's no chance there's a move that would happen before the end of this season. Is there any chance the move doesn't happen before the start of next season?
That's a great clarifying question. Our hope is that we have somebody by draft day, end of June. That's our hope. But the luxury of doing what we're doing is we have a road to play this out the way we want instead of being announcing this, like I said, in April of '26 and thinking, oh, we got to get a coach here before June, or April of '27, we got to get a coach here before June of '27.
GM, general manager.
Thank you, sorry, general manager, excuse me, thank you. Thanks for the clarification. This allows us to do it the right way. But we hope to have somebody by the draft of this year, but we're not limited by that. And Barry, again, I have full confidence he'll do the right thing.
Brooks, second row on the right.
Hi guys, Brooks Bratton, Nashville Predators. For Sean, you touched on it at the beginning, but is it possible to put into words what Barry has meant from a franchise perspective and from a community perspective as you see it, not only today, but as you mentioned, almost 30 years ago?
I don't think it's possible to put it into word. I struggle with that anyway, at any topic. But again, Barry set what it was going to be a Pred. And you look at some of the legacy programs he started in the community, how they carried forward from player to player, whether it be Best Buddies. He started the chapter in the state of Tennessee. That became something very passionate for Shea Weber, became very passionate for Roman Yossi and Pecorine, and things continue to get passed generation to generation. That's just one small example, but the biggest one is Barry didn't tell all of our players and our coaches and our staff to get involved in the community. He just did it. And an odd thing happened. It became something you wanted to emulate because, you all look up to Barry because he carried himself in such a way. So you look at that legacy in the community, what he's done. You look at what he's done and what is a player going to look like for the Nashville Predators? How will they carry themselves? How are they going to train? How are they going to treat other people? That was all in Barry's mold. And then when he came back as GM, he inherited a really good situation from his mentor, David Poyle. But despite that, he wanted to take it to the next level. And he did it. And he challenged all the norms. We have a great scouting department. How can it be better? We have a great development department. How can it be better? Well, he put new resources in, new people, new challenges, new goals. The facilities were pretty easy to identify what needed to be changed. But it wasn't enough to say we need better facilities. It was meticulous planning and sitting down, almost painfully sometimes, of what we're going to do. What is the tile going to look like? But every detail in this organization that we enjoy today, Barry put into place 30 years ago, right down to who picked out the office carpeting 30 years ago.
Yeah, me and David pretty well, but I think it was me. David put that one on me.
I'm not going to hire either one of you to decorate my house.
But again, everything that we enjoy today, we can all trace it back to what Barry put into place so many years ago. And the fact that he took his little sabbatical and ran around the Northeast for a little while, and then finally came back to us after winning a cup. We're just so fortunate because no one has been more passionate about what it means to be a Pred for life. And when Barry talks about it all the time, leave every situation better than when you found it. And he means that in every situation. And this one, it's been a 30-year goal and things that he's hit on.
Chris, second row on the right.
Chris Harris with WSMV4. Bill, here in the press release, and you talked about it too, everyone kind of involved in the search committee, but this is your first time going through this as an owner. So
Yeah.
how will you lean on these people that are listed as well as CAA, I guess, to help make this decision?
Great question. So I think we have a good mix of people. Again, we have Barry, who knows the league. I can't imagine somebody's going to show up on our radar that Barry doesn't know. That helps a lot. Sean and Michelle have been a part of the Preds for a long time. They know the organization really well. And then Chris actually has an HR background, been involved in a lot of this. Again, his family's been involved in the Preds since, I guess, the original ownership group after
07.
In 07. And then, again, Nick knows a little bit about building a culture. So I actually think we have a really good group of people, and I'm looking forward to working with them. CAA will do all the screening for us as well as the outreach. We'll see. I mean, the end result will tell us how well we did, but I like the team we have together.
Corey in the back on the right on the stage.
Hey, Corey Curtis, News 2. Barry, I heard you say why you're not retiring. Can you tell us why you are stepping away at this point?
For me, the number one thing is I think you get to a point in life, a life decision that you owe time. The great thing about this game, it is you're all in. You're all in, and you have to be if you're going to be successful. And it takes a lot of time, and it takes a lot of energy, and it also takes away a lot of things from your personal life, your family, your wife, your children, grandkids, you name it. And for me, it came really clear that they deserve my time.
Robbie, front row on the left.
You guys mentioned in the statement that Jeff Kelty, Scott Nickel, and Brian Poyle will be interviewed for the job. Do you guys have an initial preference on whether you are looking internal, external, open to all of it? How's that process going?
Yeah, great question. We really don't. And we've told everybody it's truth. There's no preordained candidate. And we've told the three of them, we want you to apply. They can obviously decide if they want to or not, but we want you to. But we don't really, we're starting with, our goal is to find the very best person to be. Like I said, there's only been 3, this will be the 3rd general manager in the history. Find the very best person to do that. I don't start with a preference, internal versus external.
Adam?
Thank you. This question is for Governor Haslam, excuse me.
I can be Bill.
Okay, Bill.
Thank you, though.
If you insist. Bill.
They don't, yeah.
I wish Adam would be that respectful to me.
Bill, this franchise has never undergone what is considered the true definition of a rebuild, which would require, among other things, multiple seasons without making the playoffs. How open are you to doing that if the new GM comes in and decides that's what's best for the organization?
So I'll answer that this way. The GM we hire is going to be responsible for deciding here's what kind of hockey we want to play, okay? And then their job is going to be to drive that all the way through the organization. I don't know enough to decide what kind of hockey we're going to play. And then that person is going to have to decide, do I like what we have? Can we build from here? Do we need to, to look at the assets we have? They need to make that decision. We're going to hire somebody, again, that's strong enough to, A, determine direction, and then, B, when we decide on that direction, make sure we've vertically integrated it all the way from here to how we draft, to how we develop people, to how we're playing in Milwaukee, the whole deal. But that'll be something that they decide. We're obviously in a position right now, as Barry started out, like, hey, we'd love to throw out November. If so, we'd be right in the, you'd look at us as one of the best, 10 teams in the league. Unfortunately, they don't let you throw months away. But I like this team. I like how they're playing. And we have some great hockey players. I like the way they play together. Our fans, I think, are enjoying it. So to say that we're going to scrap all this and totally start over, I don't think is going to be the right approach.
I don't like our first period. You're asking how we're playing? Oh. I don't like the way we play in the first period.
So we can just take out November and the first period, okay.
We give everybody a 2-goal lead.
George
Makes it interesting.
George on the left-hand side.
George Plaster, 94.9. Governor Bill.
I'll compromise here.
When he walked in December, did you try to talk him out of this?
We really I started talking more about, as a person, what do you want here? What do you want to do? Why is that the right decision? Because there's certain life decisions that you can't make for another person. And once I understood what was motivating Barry, and if you know Barry, he doesn't do anything halfway. I mean, he'll fly up to see his father up in rural Canada and then go to the World Juniors in Minneapolis for 6 days and then join the team. I mean, he doesn't do things halfway. And when he makes a life decision, he needs to make it in what works best for him and his family. And so I didn't look at my role as trying to talk him into it or out of it. My role was, okay, tell me why you think that. Now let's figure out what's best for the organization.
And front row on the right.
Ann Kimmel, Penalty Box Radio. This question is for Barry. Having been the general manager, obviously it's very early in this process. You've talked about what you want to see from a candidate. What do you think is most important as you begin this process?
I'm new at, not new to hockey, but I'm new to the general manager's game. I think you need someone who understands the league. I think you're going to need someone who is progressive in terms of thinking, because the game's changing. The game's changing on the ice. It's definitely changing off the ice in terms of how you acquire players, and I say that through technologies and AI and how you evaluate players to putting a team together. You got salary cap that is onward changing year to year, and then sometimes it's been flat because of world events. But someone who's I will say flexible and thoughtful. And if I could say anything in this business, if you're going to join the Nashville Predators, that you're going to have to be someone who's going to have to work with great people and be a team player. And I think that's going to be really important.
Steve, front row on the left.
Barry, it was basically 3 years ago where we all sat down on the ice and you came back. And
Yeah.
It was a great welcome, and you talked about wanting to bring the Stanley Cup that you hoisted in Washington here. We'll see if that happens before the end of this season. But how close do you think this organization is now as you make this decision to step away? And maybe what did you learn about the organization coming back in this time?
Well, if you look at, I do want to bring a Stanley Cup to this organization. Can we do it in my short time frame? I don't know, but I do know that I want to set it up. If I can't do it, I want to set it up for my replacement to be in a fantastic spot. Hopefully the cupboards will be full. You look at the number of picks we have in the next couple of years, I think our shelf is getting pretty full. We've got some great veteran players. We've got some guys in the system who are developing. And I think with all we have to offer, be it free agency, facilities, the non-tax state, the weather, Nashville, the community, the ownership, everything's lining up for success. And I do want to see a parade down Broadway in my lifetime, for sure. And I want to leave, as Sean said, I want to leave it in a great spot. So that it can win a Stanley Cup, because there's going to be assets and players, and be it veteran or young players, that are going to give you the ability to find a path to the Stanley Cup. I will tell you this, as a coach, and I had some good teams in Nashville, I had some good teams on the island. I won a cup in Washington, and to win a cup, you have to go through some misery. And you've seen it, the other franchises have looked like they were ready to win it and didn't. And then, they go through misery and find a way to do it. And that's sort of the path that I ended up in Washington. I thought I had some teams that I thought I was going to play in 2017 in Nashville with the team in Washington. It was a good hockey team, but we were maybe too good early, and we never played a meaningful game for 2 months. And when it came down to the playoffs, we just couldn't find that extra gear again. And then the next year with maybe a lesser team, but more, I'll say, hardened because of some of the things that we had to go through, won a Stanley Cup. And the path is never clear. I mean, we could have been out in the first round in 4 games, and we found a way to dig ourselves out. And that's been, when I do my research with the other coaches when I was coaching, is that they all talked about when they won the Stanley Cup, I was looking for that magic pill. Every coach that has won said, man, if that team would have scored in that round 1, and we would have been out in first round, and we ended up winning. So there's no clear path. It is the hardest trophy in the world to win. Because you've got to go 2 months of total focus, and things go right, and it is by far the hardest trophy to win. And when you win it is why you want to win it again, because it is the Mount Everest of our sport. And anybody who's climbed Mount Everest, they don't just go there once, they seem to go back there again, or look for a higher mountain out there. So that's the beauty of trying to win a Stanley Cup. It's so hard, and once you do, you want to do it again.
I agree with everything Barry said about this being a great place, except I wouldn't brag about our weather just right now. All right, maybe one or two, and then we need to wrap
Yeah,
up.
we could take two more. We'll go to Russell on the third row on the right.
Russell Venozzi of Main Street, Nashville. Barry, with what you just said there about wanting to set up the next GM for success, how does that inform your approach to the trade deadline next month?
Well, right now, these are, we've got some time here till the trade deadline. These are very important games. I mean, we just finished a really important trip, last 3 games. I mean, the guys have been wonderful digging out of a big hole. It was a tough week for the team last week, for instance. Guys were on their phones. Most of the wives and families were in hotels or had no heat and stuff like that. And you see the guys that always on the phone trying to get a generator like everybody else hooked up to their house and that. So it's hard when your family's going through that and you're on the road and you're trying to help your family and stay focused. You have to be focused to win in this league. Execution and focus is everything, or you get hurt or you lose. Those are 2 things that are just common when your focus is not there. So we're going to focus on where we are now and focus on, my job is quite honestly and transparent when asked, where are we? And I said, I've got to listen to everything. We're not in the playoffs right now. So I've got to listen to everything. I owe that to both the gentleman next to me and our fan base and anybody who is a fan of the Predators. I have to look at everything, and I'm going to look at it from a now, and I'm going to look at it from a futures. So everything's on the table.
Go to Chris for the final one.
Barry, you talked about why it was time earlier. As someone who has devoted his entire life to hockey, what was it like for you getting yourself in the right mindset to make that decision?
I think, you surround yourself with good people. Sometimes you get defined by what you do, not who you are. For me, I love the game. I also love my family.
Thank you very much, Barry.